میگن ما ناو فرستادیم طرف ایران. خیلی خوب، ناو البته یک دستگاه خطرناکی است، اما خطرناکتر از ناو اون سلاحی است که میتوانه این ناو رو به قعر دریا.
Imagine this: the Arabian Sea at dawn, a flash beneath the waves, and within minutes, a U.S. aircraft carrier is burning. American naval officers scramble for survival. It's the nightmare scenario Washington has always feared, a direct hit by Iran. So, what happens next? Shock and fury would be America's primary reaction. Subsequently, decision-making will begin because an attack on a U.S. carrier is categorized as an act of war under the U.S. military doctrine. What will Trump's first response be? How will the U.S. contain the crisis? And what will happen between the U.S. and one of its oldest rivals, Iran? We answer these questions in this episode of HT In Depth. Currently, USS Abraham Lincoln, as part of a carrier strike group, is stationed in the Arabian Sea near Oman. A second aircraft carrier, also the world's biggest, USS Gerald Ford, is en route to the Middle East. These two carriers, along with their strike groups, form the U.S. Armada positioned in the Gulf for a possible conflict with Iran. Iran has repeatedly warned it will strike U.S. interests in the Middle East if it is attacked, and also posted a simulation depicting a missile splitting the USS Lincoln into two. Recently, Khamenei also posted an AI-generated image of the USS Gerald Ford as a coffin. These threats could possibly be backed by Iranian firepower, but here's what would happen if Khamenei followed through on his warnings. Step 1. Automated retaliation. If a hostile act is detected, a carrier strike group will retaliate with the Pentagon's approval. An incoming missile at the U.S. aircraft carrier will automatically activate onboard defenses. The carrier's air wing will be authorized immediately to destroy the source of launch. Warplanes from carriers or nearby bases will strike Iranian batteries, radar sites, and naval assets. Step 2. An act of war. Under the U.S. military doctrine, an attack on a carrier is categorized as an act of war. Striking a U.S. carrier would be equivalent to a nuclear strike on any American city. U.S. military protocols would call for a disproportionate response in such a scenario. Iran and USA's tense situation would no longer be a contained conflict. U.S. forces would shift to total theater dominance to neutralize Iranian military infrastructure. Step 3. Mobilize all assets. If a carrier is damaged or sunk, U.S. would activate its global Find, Fix, Finish protocol. Every asset, from high-altitude drones to underwater sensors, would be deployed against Iran. Tomahawk missiles, B-21 radar strikes to then obliterate IRGC facilities, drone units, and missile silos. This action would come about within 24 hours of any attack on an American aircraft carrier. Step 4. Contain the crisis. The U.S. Fifth Fleet would lock down the Strait of Hormuz, a key oil trade route. Tanker routes would be diverted, and global markets would shutter overnight. The Iranian shadow fleet would be intercepted or seized and would induce an economic shock. Step 5. End the Iranian stronghold. If Iran mobilizes proxies, Hezbollah in Lebanon, militias in Iraq, or the Houthis in Yemen, America could open a wider campaign targeting those groups. Cyber attacks on Iranian command networks could paralyze communications, and covert operations might target IRGC generals or weapons depots. The U.S. would finally deploy its nuclear triad, raising the alert to the highest level. With the end of the nuclear arms control treaty between the U.S. and Russia, America could increase the number of nuclear weapons deployed at any given time. The use of nuclear weapons, however, is a last resort. The threat of nukes is used to demand an unconditional strategic submission, akin to ordering Iran to completely and entirely give up its nuclear and ballistic programs. In mainland America, debates would begin and Congress could greenlight an official declaration of war. It is important to note the USA has not officially declared war against a foreign nation since World War II in 1942. The saga of sinking an aircraft carrier officially began with the Iranian Supreme Leader's direct threat to sink the US warship as tensions reached a boiling point between USA and Tehran.
درشون میرسه که مرتبا میگه رئیس جمهور آمریکا که ارتش ما قوی‌ترین ارتش دنیاست. قوی‌ترین ارتش دنیا ممکنه اونچنان گاهی سیلی بخوره که از جا نتوانه بلنش. ناو فرستادیم طرف ایران. خیلی خوب. ناو البته یک دستگاه خطرناکی است، اما خطرناکتر از ناو اون سلاحی است که میتوانه این ناو رو به قعر دریا، پایی هم که رئیس جمهور آمریکا میزنه که من رو اشاره خواهم کرد، گاهی تهدید میکنه، گاهی میگه باید فلان کار بشه، فلان کار نشه. این معناش این است که اینا در پی تسلط بر ملت ایرانن. ملت ایران درس‌های اسلامی و شیعی خودش رو خوب بلده، میدونه که چه کار کنه. امام حسین علیه السلام فرمود مثلی لا یبایع یزید، کسی مثل من با کسی مثل یزید بیعت نمیکنه. ملت ایران در واقع میگن مثل ما، ملتی با این فرهنگ، با این سابقه، با این معارف عالی به سردمدارانی مثل افراد فاسدی که امروز بر سر کارند در آمریکا بیعت نخواهد کرد. درباره انرژی هسته‌ای شما با هم مذاکره کنیم و نتیجه مذاکره بشود این که شما این انرژی رو نداشته باشید. اگر مذاکره باید انجام بگیره، واقعا جای مذاکره نیست. اگر بنا شد مذاکره انجام بگیره، تعیین نتیجه مذاکره از قبل یه کار غلط و ابلهانه است. خب تو میگی بیا با هم حرف بزنیم درباره فلان موضوع به توافق برسیم. چرا نتیجه رو معین میکنه؟ باید حتما به این توافق برسیم. و این ابلهانه است. این کار ابلهانه رو دارن انجام میدن رؤسای آمریکا و بعضی از سناتورها و رئیس جمهور و دیگران و دیگر.
But can Iran really sink a US warship, particularly a carrier? The answer might be yes. There are two key weapons that Iran could use to attack a US naval ship. One, the Abu Mahdi missile. It allows flexible targeting options from multiple launch platforms, has been reverse engineered from Russia's Kh-55 missile, is integrated with turbojet engine for range in excess of 1,000 kilometers, has 3 times the range of anti-ship cruise missiles like Qadir. It supports low-altitude sea-skimming flight profiles, has enhanced capabilities against radar detection, and has dual-mode radar seekers to track and engage targets. The other key method up Iran's sleeve would be a swarm attack to overwhelm any carrier strike group's defenses. Iran could focus on swarming massive vessels with hundreds of small, agile speedboats, forcing American radars to deal with multiple targets at once. Additionally, Iran could launch its Shahed drones, loaded with explosives, in a surge attack to chip away at the warship and its defenses. An Iranian drone did manage to hover close to USS Lincoln recently, but it was shot down immediately. However, the drone didn't go down without reportedly transmitting data back to its command and control center. Could the drone infiltration attempt be a precursor to Ali Khamenei's ultimate attack on America? Keep watching to stay updated.